CAPRISA 2015 was another best of the best. It would also mark the second time I played drums with St. Mary's, aside from working first aid. On day 3 of CAPRISA 2015, I was on my first duty, and I remember during a break, Trixie Bayot, one of the players, brought me to the Marians. And I wasn't really that happy because the Salians were also watching me. And if they found out about me with smack, I would be dead within a matter of minutes. But there were Lasalians who understood my reason of being with St. Mary's. They also allowed it for as long as I returned back to St. John after dealing with St. Mary's, St. Anthony's, and Purisima. I also had the chance to speak with you and your classmates about many things and other. On the 4th day, during a girls' match, I was given drums to play and I played rhythms every time St. Mary's scored a goal. Some other guys were just like, let's ask James to teach us drums, and then I taught them some drums and some rhythms to play. And on that same day, it would be the first time I would meet Sir Nathaniel Cashan, another teacher from St. Mary's, who advised me that I should be careful while working first aid because it's dangerous. And they told me that playing drums with smack would be a little better if I wanted to keep safe. On the last day of CAPRISA 2015, I donned a blue V-neck and a Kuya Kim hat, and some Lasalians also misinterpret it as supporting St. Mary's instead of them, wherein I clarified that it was only my color code because assistant first aiders would be wearing blue. I also had pictures with Trixie and her friends because they asked me to have pictures with them. After some pictures with Trixie and her friends, I remembered also that Trixie remarked me as one of the best gifts God has blessed us with. I sat next to you and we had a conversation. You asked me on why I was supporting 2 schools where in fact I should be supporting 1. I told you that I was a neutral person and I had to support both schools, St. John because I came there, and St. Mary's because of my family roots. And I remember telling you, why choose one where I can have both? You asked me where did I get that and I said, no idea. They placed my arm on your knee for a rest, as if it was an airplane throttle wherein some pilots rest their hands there to keep their speed. Before the game started, my counselor in St. John, Miss Christine Joy D. Soler, took pictures of me using her DSLR, which I was never happy at all. And I wasn't happy at all, and I wanted to pull the hair of Miss Skin, that ginger devil. The game started and I played drops again for St. Mary's. Little did I know that St. John was also watching me. Minutes later, after a few rounds, an injury occurred. I was alerted by the Marians and I rushed the field, while the other fans were just cheering on me. I look at the victim. It was player number 7 of St. John, Sean Baniel, one of the only people I authorized to tease me about you and for my being with the Marians. As I check his vitals, I beg on the first aiders to come. The first aiders came with St. John's physician, Dr. Consolacion Advincula Feca. While Doc Feca was checking his vitals, I applied cold compress on Sean Baniel's sprained ankle. A first aider took my DSLR and snapped photos of us doing our work. We brought Sean to safety, while the Marians and the Lasalians applauded. The game went on, and then Smack won the championships after scoring a goal. As the cheering and celebrations continued, I took out my DSLR again and took pictures of many of the people there celebrating. Players, school, alike. I took your photos and other people's photos. While St. John was planning to shake hands with St. Mary's, the coach of St. John shooed the players away. I remember shouting the words, "Coach of St. John, the blowjob giver." However, my words blowjob was heard by St. Mary's, Sir Kurt, some teachers, and Sister Cora. They told me not to say the word because of his strong nature. Then I rode with Sister Cora to Robinson's to watch the Litmus. Our school got 2nd place in Litmus. Later that night, we would be watching Dance Showdown variety show at Philomer Christian University Gym. I recall also that Santini, the choir and performing arts club which I am part of in St. John, was planning to perform the Awit ng Kabataan from the OPM concert last September 28. It would just be the same thing to do. Santini members singing and dancing at the same time with me playing guitar and background vocals. But however, I would be giving it a new twist. Because while the Santini members would be donning their Santini shirts, I would be donning my signature Kiss outfit and my signature Kiss persona known as the Jap Spitz. The Jap Spitz was chosen because of my love for the dog breed of the same name and because also my first and second pet dogs were of the same breed. But however, we scrapped it out and then we replaced it with a new number from the Animal Night 2015. Selected scientific members would be dancing to Salute by Little Mix and Justin Bieber's That Power in a full military style. And I also love every other presentation too that night. And at the end, CAPRISA was formally done. The next day, I'll be watching Felix Manalo, but my group mates in my course, psychology, interrupted my rest day to do a thesis revision. We decided to do it at Bean Leaf. June Daliva and Laika Amon were with me. We were joined together by April Boluso, a former Maureen, and Miss V. Gadilinab, who belonged to another group. We were joined by two business administration students formerly from St. Mary's, John Henry Adorado and Glenn Joy Delphine. Another student joined us too. Her name is Lovely Grace Arca, a former Marian during her third year high school. Their interruption caused me to miss my choir on the second day because I'll be watching Felix Manalo on Sunday afternoon. After watching the movie, I went to the cathedral for the 6 to 7 p.m. Mass and I joined the choir and sang the songs that I know. The choir commended me with the words nice voice and a good singer, and another commended me saying, very good, at least you know our songs. Next time you try to join us again. After 2 weeks of this revision, I left for Manila to get my passport at the Department of Foreign Affairs because I had renewed my passport during summer 2015 before my OJT started. My dad flew in from Bicol on that same day I arrived in Manila. I remember talking to the celebrity about the band Kiss and what my instruments in the band were, as well as my persona. Before my dad called me and he had to leave for the DFA, I left that celebrity a bookmark of the band. She and her family said, good luck on your tour with Kiss. My father told me, if you want to be with Kiss, why don't you just audition for Eagles first? Maybe you will be decent first with Eagles. I remember going there at 9:30 in the morning and then meeting up first with Blessy, Celine, and the others at the upper hall, which is the auditorium. I went out and met up with Sister Cora, who told me to make myself and feel at home with them. And then I met Dr. Mercedita Abbas, PhD, and another nun whom I befriended. And I can still recall that I purchased one t-shirt of Smack. That would be my very first t-shirt from St. Mary's. And also, I met again Sir Nathaniel Cachon and some other teachers before my attention was called by Trixie and her friends from grade 8. I can still remember there were so much pictures of us taken before Trixie reintroduced me again to Sabrina Tarazona. After Trixie and her friends, I met up with Jed Balbona and Elena Lopez, as well as their classmates. I can still recall you wave at me when I passed by some of the classrooms there and I just waved back at you but never took notice. I can still recall there was this rare treat for a guest there, which is the guest gets to stay in the faculty room, which is off limits to students. In the faculty room where I took a short nap after eating my lunch, teachers interviewed me. One of them knows my professor in religious studies back in first semester of first year college, Mr. Mark Nel Venus. That teacher and Sir Mark are friends. There was a guitar in the faculty room there that I picked up and played in front of teachers and I sang this song. The song itself was written as Dancer, which was originally done by Snap but was later covered in an acoustic version by Sajire, an Italian Israelite singer. We spoke more things about St. John and also my presumed entry to law school too. Later on, I visited each classroom and checked out what they were all preparing. And I surely loved every production. I saw a drum kit there which the sound guys owned and then they gave me permission to try it. I played rhythms of my own first, then later plugged in my phone and played two Tony Basil songs, Street Beat and Do You Wanna Dance. I remember also picking up a guitar and singing with some grade 9 boys the songs Take It Easy by Eagles and Blessed Union of Souls' Brother My Brother. I should have done more, like playing the piano or the keyboards while doing vocals. And if that would be, the song that I would play there is Meant to Be by Never the Strangers. I wanted the sounds to my plug phone and then play the Macarena. The entire school went to nostalgia. I can still recall there were some grade 9 girls who said, oh my god, this is a very nice song, I still remember this. From one class to another, I remember the students getting out and then dancing to the Macarena. And I bet your classroom also did. Aside from the students, there were teachers who joined in, as well as some parents. The nuns looked on with joy and excitement and then they just clapped along to the song. I was just smiling and watching the entire school dance the Macarena. At the end of the song, everybody just applauded for themselves and for the whole school. And I earned the respect of the entire St. Mary's community. I got interviewed by grade 10 students, Carla Del Rosario, Jalen Felicia Pajarito, and some others about what I have done for that day. And I stayed on until the night to watch your show, The Lion King. I loved it, I loved the costumes, and I loved everything, and I loved the well-choreographed show of The Lion King, which was done by your class. You even bagged champion, most disciplined, best costume. I can still recall that one of the students in your class was Roa Junea Magallanes. She's the granddaughter of my school disciplinarian in the college department, Mrs. Hilda Alagbay Cruz. When I got back to school on Monday, Mrs. Cruz talked about the show, and I remember she invited me to her office, and then we talked about the Smack Family Day, and I told her about what I've done. My story really made her laugh and smile a lot, and then I remember Miss Cruz telling me, prove to them your worth also. Prove to them that you can do good despite that act of yours. You can do well in your academics because, right, you plan to be a lawyer. And I told her that I plan to be a judge. And said like, well, you have to start by being a lawyer first. 2 days before the Road to Forever concert, I filmed the birthday speech video for your Sweet 16 in B10 of Balgos Hall. That was after a class in Industrial Psychology with Human Resources Management with Miss Erica Ignacio. After the wrap-up of the speech video, I started the artwork immediately. I posted the video on Facebook and YouTube as well as a speech on your wall on March 2, 2016. There were many likes and so much comments there. Your sister Tricia made me know how jealous she was about the efforts that I made, and then others were just like the king of efforts and everything, which I didn't like it somehow. However, the speech video caused another insult again from Sean Baniel and Von Hudson. But that time that they insulted me, I already gave them authority. It was only after our Animo night and our centennial farewell party that I get to know about your parents' reactions towards that birthday speech video. On the night before your moving up ceremony, you revealed to me that your parents laughed a lot about the video. Your mom insisted I had a crush on me, and so did your dad say the same. On April 1 itself, I already graduated. You congratulated me on that day itself. I revealed about those 2 toga hoods that were in my house. I posted the video of myself playing the organ during the mass with my choir. We were singing the song Come Creator Spirit, and you gave me a like on that video too. And that was my first time that I myself had played the organ in church. And because of that privilege of playing the organ, I promised to my cousin, who is the president of that congregation, as well as my friend there, and who is my vocal coach and choir moderator, that I would stop making Yo Mama jokes. That is my first CAPRISA in law school. About the first day, I was only reporting for the morning game because the opening will be in the afternoon. You and Blessing caught me with Sir Benjo. I noticed you doing your signature pose with Blessing. We spoke for a bit and I took your photo. My car got hit by a ball. You told me that it was already hit like 13 times. I remember there were Cheetos lying in the front seat, so I grabbed that Cheetos bag before you noticed it, and then you asked me for it with Blessing. I gave the bag to you and you guys thanked me for it. The second day of CAPRISA, I sided again with the Red Cross and I began my work with them. On the morning game, it was Smack versus St. John girls, and on that game itself, I noticed that St. Mary's was on the verge of losing, so I remembered also telling all the Maureen's to cheer up for their players. And I remembered also cheering out for the players too by saying, you can do it number 7, you're the MVP. You can do it number 7, you're the MVP, and just so on and so on. I remembered also that St. Mary's won the game and we had pictures later on. You asked me for a photo opportunity, which I accepted. It was Grizzle herself who took the photo. Later on in the afternoon, I decided to work against the Red Cross during the St. John versus CPC game, which is the boys version. I still recall also that during a break, I would stay with Sir Kurt Alinsog and speak with him about house law school and more. When an injury occurs, I would always yell the word, "Alright, fuckers," and then call the first aiders to come in and just said, "I need to check this." Sir Kurt overheard me and he told me not to curse. It didn't end there because Sir Kurt took a photo of our picture from an earlier game and then he retweeted it on Twitter saying, "CAPRISA love team," which I didn't know until that evening. Tweeted a picture of me sitting with him and the other players saying, "A CAPRISA is not complete without James joining our pack," which I'm very happy to hear of. Also, we had one injury that day. It was one of those boys whom I authorized to tease me about you, Von Muson. And I remember he had a sprained ankle, which I helped him on. Von Muson told his coach in St. John, "Do you know this first aider? Do you know his crush? Player number 7 of St. Mary's girls." The coach himself asked me how did we get to know each other, and I told him the whole story. And later on, St. John won the match. And then I drove to 7-Eleven to buy my usual snacks for my law classes, which end at 8:30 p.m. before heading on to Purisima to do another first aid work at the San Lorenzo Event Center. But my work was just short because I had the graded recitation on that day itself. So I went to the classroom to revise myself for my criminal law class with a professor who also comes from St. Mary's. He is no other than Fiscal Christopher G. Orola. On the third day itself, the games would be in the afternoon, so I had more time to relax in the morning by helping out the family business and then taking a little rest and eating a heavy lunch before driving at 12:50 p.m. to start with a boys' game, Smack versus St. John also. In that game, we had 3 injuries. Sean Baniel, who had cramps, Donny Vigkas, who sprained his ankle, and Rian Reyes Espeja, who was nauseated. Trixie also wanted to introduce me to Saibel Pareñas, but I told her that I was too busy to be introduced at the moment. I also recall that I had conversations with Neo and Aida from the ABM. Somebody took a photo of me and Aida. For the girls' game, our first injury there was Sean Aperocho, the goalkeeper, and my friend from St. John. I had to just summon the first aiders into the scene and then also yell out lots of obscenities. Later on, the soccer officials brought in some pizza. Then they asked me to take a slice because they saw that I was starving. I asked Aida and Aya if they knew Ira de la Rosa. They said that they know her because Kira Montanejos was the sister of Jessa Montanejos, who was a batchmate of Ira. Aida even said that ang cute pa naman ng Ira na yan. Aya agreed to it by saying, "Tama ka, pati pa boses niya," wherein Aida made a cat meowing sound to mimic Ira's voice. One of the Chinese pool players, my nephew, Gabriel Adonai, met up with me and we conversed. He asked me what was my Yo Mama joke of the day, which was,
Yo mama's so damn ugly. When the devil saw her, he started going to church.
I asked him what was his joke. It was,
Yo mama's so fat. When she died, she broke the stairway to heaven.
then I replied,
A lot of paperwork thanks to your fat dead mom. Yeah, work it out.
one of your coaches from St. Mary's, this guy wearing a sweater and denim jeans, overheard our jokes and he was just like, "James, those are not nice jokes. What if somebody cracked them back at you?"